So if you watch my older channels that were terminated, you saw that I did a video about this horrible singer named The Weeknd and why he was wearing bandages because it's predictive programming for Trump's head wound. Okay, now listen, I will get back to this and show you all the details of how it connects to Trump and Trump's head wound on August 4th, Obama's birthday. So remember, I'm saying that Trump is going to get his head wound on August 4th, Obama's birthday. So why am I showing Nelson Mandela? It's the man and son code, if you know my older videos. Anyway, Nelson Mandela, there is a conspiracy about this guy because people thought he was dead. They thought he was dead back in the 90s or late 80s because of this creature right here who kind of created the Mandela effect, where people remember a certain thing a certain way, but it ends up not being that way because they thought he was dead, but he actually died in 2013, 20, 30 years later from when they thought, when other people were thinking that he had actually died, this Nelson Mandela. This creature's name is Fiona Broom, okay? And they're calling her the person who started this Mandela effect. But who knows, I believe it was the powers that be, because I told you it's predictive programming for Trump's head wound, and I'll tell you why. Because Obama, really talked up this Nelson Mandela, and he, the Mandela effect started during Obama's presidency. So he kind of brought Nelson Mandela back from the dead. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because Obama was president at the time, but he really didn't do anything because he never died, this Mandela, in the first place. But it's predictive programming showing that Obama brought somebody back from the dead, just like he's going to bring Trump back from the dead on August 4th after Trump gets his head wound. And if you don't believe that that's predictive programming, here's another example for you. This congresswoman, she supposedly got a head wound after an attempted assassination on her life, this congresswoman. And it also happened during Obama's presidency. And what happened? Because she was in a coma. Now listen to this. I'll get into the details of the story in a minute, but this is a video that you can watch telling you what Obama did because she was in a coma, this Gabby Giffords, that's her name. And I told you I'll get into the details of the story in a minute. Let's listen to what Obama did.
Come from the University Medical Center, just a mile from here, where our friend Gabby courageously fights to recover. Right after we went to visit, a few minutes after we left her room and some of her colleagues from Congress were in the room, Gabby opened her eyes for the first time. Gabby opened her eyes for the first time.
So did you understand what I was showing there? So as soon as Obama visited Gabby Giffords, who got a head wound, after he left the room, not even 2 minutes later, she opened her eyes for the first time. So he brought her back to life also, besides Mandela. Do you get it? And look, notice it's in Tucson, Arizona, where this shooting happened. And it's got the sun. I told you the man and the sun is the code, right? And Arizona is the 48th state. Okay, and 4-8 is backwards 8-4. I told you Obama's birthday is 8-4, the day Trump gets his head wound. Okay? And this is the person that got shot. And what's this person's name? Gabrielle Giffords. It's got the same initials. I told you the same initials is also a code. Okay? This is the person that got the head wound. And she was a congresswoman. And when was she born? Oh, sorry about that. I don't care about when she was born. I was talking about when did the shooting happen. Look at the date of the shooting. January 8th, 2011. January 8th. That's the day Elvis Presley was born. January 8th. You see that? Because Trump and Elvis, I told you, were the devil twins. Now watch what I show you. So there was another Congress person that got shot, but this time it was a congressman, not the congresswoman. So the congressman that got shot, the one on the left right here, next to Gabrielle Giffords, and the congressman, his name is Steve Scalise. You see that? He's got the same initials, just like that Gabrielle Giffords. So before I show you the when the shooting happened, remember Gabrielle Giffords has the same initials, GG. He's got the SS for Steve Scalise. Her shooting of the congresswoman, her shooting was on January 8th, Elvis's birthday. Let's see when the congressman's shooting was. The shooting happened because it was at a congressional baseball game, the shooting. It happened on June 14th, 2017. This was the first year that Trump was in office, and it happened on June 14th. And why is June 14th so important? Because June 14th is Trump's birthday. Are you getting what I just showed you? So her shooting was on Elvis's birthday. His shooting was on Trump's birthday. Do you see what I'm trying to explain to you? It's the twin shootings of the congressman and the congresswoman. And remember, hers happened in Tucson, which had the sun in it. And she had the same initials, he had the same initials. And the baseball shooting at where Steve Scalise got shot, it happened at Eugene Simpson. It's got the sun in the name, okay? Just like her shooting was in Tucson, which had the sun in the name. And here was the shooter. And look, his name is Hodgkin's son. He's got the sun in his name. So like I said, I'm going to get to The Weeknd, the singer, and his connections to Trump's head wound. Okay, but right now I'm going to keep showing you more predictive programming for August 4th connecting to Trump. So a long time ago, I showed how Donald Trump was on the cover of Newsweek magazine on a Lazy Boy recliner, and they were calling him Lazy Boy. I'm going to show you why they were calling him Lazy Boy. And he was drinking a Diet Coke, get it? And some Cheetos. And it was a bag of McDonald's over here, whatever. But anyway, he's sitting on a Lazy Boy recliner. And look above him. First of all, it's got the S right above his head. I told you the S is the crown. And notice it's SW is the initials of Seattle, Washington also, which connects to Elvis, because he's the Seattle, Washington connection, because that's my other prediction. On June 11th, Elvis somehow appears after a catastrophic event in Seattle on June 11th. But doesn't have to do with Trump. It just happens around Trump's birthday, because Trump's birthday is on June 14th. But I'm saying it's going to be on June 11th, this catastrophic event. Anyway, so he's on a Lazy Boy recliner, and they're calling him Lazy Boy. And you know what a Lazy Boy recliner does? See, you're sitting up, right? Like this. And then it goes straight back, and it looks like you're sleeping, but also you could be dead. You know what I mean? Like you're laying back and now you're dead. And then you come back up again, like a resurrection. Do you understand? And that's why they have Trump on a Lazy Boy recliner, because LAZ is the first three letters of Lazarus, who was brought back from the dead. Okay, Jesus brought Lazarus back from the dead after 4 days. He's playing the Lazarus figure, and Elvis is playing the part of the Phoenix. And every video on YouTube at the time, when it first came out, this video and everything came out, it was on August 4th. Okay? When the story broke that he was going to be on the cover a week later, because it came out on August 11th, 8/11. Remember, I told you the 8/11 is actually 6/11 on the Roman calendar, because the 8th month was the 6th month, August. But anyway, August 4th, and that's the day I'm telling you Trump gets his head wound. And August 4th, he was on that lazy boy recliner. I mean, they showed him. That's when the story first broke. Every video on YouTube was on August 4th showing that he was on that lazy boy recliner. Remember, that lazy boy, when he was in the lazy boy, that was 2017. Now, August 4th, 2018, there was a drone attack. On who? On a president of Venezuela. And you know that Trump and him are, adversaries. So his name is Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela. And he had an attempted assassination on a president. Do you get it? President Trump. You understand? August 4th. This was predictive programming, and this was 2018. Then in 2019, look at this. August 3rd, one day before August 4th, I'm going to show you the August 4th shooting also. August 3rd, there was a mass shooting in Texas. They called it the El Paso shooting. And you know, El in Hebrew means God, and Paso in Spanish means past. So it's God past. Okay? And look at the time, 11:09, 9/11. You see that? Ridiculous. And the very next day, there was another shooting, but this time in Ohio. See, August 4th, 2019, the very next day after that El Paso shooting in Ohio. And I told you Trump's going to get his head wound in Ohio. That's the most likely place. I'm going to go back and tell you more details about those shootings. But first, let me go to August 4th, 2020. On August 4th, 2020, there was the biggest explosion we've ever seen in real life. And it happened in Beirut, Lebanon. Look, on August 4th, 2020. And it happened in Beirut, Lebanon. And I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. And then this year, listen to this. On right after midnight on August 4th, in the early hours, like I said, right after midnight, and they're not 100% sure, but it could have been on August 4th also. But they said sometime while this guy went to sleep at night, this guy died. And do you know who this guy is? He is a president, and he died. Remember, I just told you, either he died on August 4th or August 5th, but they wrote August 5th because that's when they found his body. Look at his name, will you? He goes by the name of President, AFL-CIO. He's a union president, and his name is Trumpka. So a President Trumpka dies in the early morning of August 4th or August 5th. You see? It's August 5th up there. But he was found in the early morning of August 5th. So they're saying he died of a heart attack, this President Trumpka. Look what it says right here. It's believed to be either Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. Thursday was August 5th. Wednesday was August 4th. You see? I told you. All I'm saying is you better get your head on straight if you think there's coincidences like this in the world, where a guy named Trumpka dies on either August 4th or August 5th. After all these years, I've been telling you that Trump's gonna get a head wound on that day, and I'm showing you all these coincidences. And it just so happens Trumpka equals 84. Do you see that? 84. What a coincidence, right? And Trump, the real Trump, his equals 88. And that's the day I told you that Trump comes back from his head wound. So Trumpka, the other Trump guy, is 84. This real Trump is 88. I mean, can you believe these coincidences, man? Remember earlier I told you about the El Paso shooting that happened on August 3rd, 2019, the day before the shooting in Ohio that happened on August 4th, that same year, within like 10 hours of each other? Okay, let me just show you some details of this El Paso shooting. So they're saying that this guy was a hero because he saved people. He saved children from the El Paso shooter. So they said this guy was a hero. And he even Trump went and visited him, or he visited Trump in the White House. I'm not sure. But even Trump was connected to it. So look here first. Remember, he was from the El Paso shooting, this guy. You know what his name is? Glenn Dawn Oakley. And he's got the Dawn like Donald Trump. Glenn is, I'm from Glendale. You see that? It's almost got the word Glendale. I told you, everything is connected to me with this. And by the way, Oakley are glasses. Ley is like Presley. And the word glasses equals Seattle. Okay, but anyway, so he's got the Dawn. And look at this. He's a Killian native. Kill. It's got the kill in his name. Now watch what happened. Remember, he was a hero. And look, he was found dead. And you see what day they found him? First of all, I put barracks up here because it sounds like Barack. And there was even a Beirut bombing of the barracks in Beirut years ago. But anyway, so that guy was found on April 8th, 4-8. That's the 8-4 backwards. Do you see that? All right, what is the chance of that guy dying and connected to all of the stuff that I showed you already? It's the 8-4 backwards. He died. And the fact that he has the Dawn in his name and he's a Killian native. I mean, come on, man. And check this out. From August 4th to April 8th, which is the backwards numbers, 8-4-4-8, you see? Look at this. It's 8 months and 4 days. And look, again with the 8-4. You see what I'm saying? Even those connect to each other. So remember that Glendon Oakley, he was in the shooting that happened the day before this Dayton, Ohio shooting in the same year. See, this one was August 4th in Ohio. The other one was in the El Paso, the one that armed forces guy who got killed, Glendon. Anyway, so this one, let me show you how it connects to Trump. And remember, I'm telling you, Trump's going to get his head wound in Ohio. And Ohio's the 17th state. Look at this. They even have the number 17 in the story. Look at the address of the bar that the shooting happened at. 419, and Trump's birthday is 6/14. The 9 can be turned upside down. It would be a 6, and it would look like 6/14 backwards. You know what I mean? And Trump Tower is on 5th Street. And the word 5th right there, the way it's written, 5th equals 33. And remember, I told you Trump Tower is on 5th Street. Because if you add 5 plus the T and the H, T and H equals 28 plus the 5 equals 33. And do you remember when this happened? The flag fell. The American flag. It was at a Serena Williams gold medal ceremony at Wimbledon. You see that? It's got the EL for God, and it's got the Don for Donald, and it happened on August 4th. And why is this important? The fact that the flag fell at Wimbledon on August 4th. Because, see, Trump, he's born on June 14th, which is the same day as Flag Day. What is Flag Day? June 14th. It's also World Blood Donor Day. June 14th. Can you believe this, man? Talk about, like, that's like some vampire stuff right there, man. I told you Elvis and Trump are the twin vampires, the devils. World Blood Donor Day also on June 14th. Every year it's the same date. The Flag Day and World Blood Donor Day is on June 14th, which is Trump's birthday. That's why the flag falling, get it? Because Trump is the Flag Day, flag. You understand? It fell on August 4th because Trump is going to get his head wound and fall. Do you get it? Something's going to happen to him. And it happened at Wimbledon. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And look at this. It happened at 8:20 a.m., it says. You know why I'm showing you that? Oh, first let me show you this. Serena Williams has the initials SW for Seattle, Washington. See that? But anyway, the 8:20, the reason I'm showing you that, because look at this. See, this says 8:20 p.m. I know the other one said 8:20 a.m., but anytime it's 8:20, the hands are on the 8 and the 4. You see that? And remember, it happened on 8/4. And even the bombing that happened in Beirut happened on 8/4. And it happened in the year 2020. And in military time, 2020 is 8:20 p.m. You see? These are not coincidences, folks. And remember, I told you that August 4th is the 216th day of the year. The day that Trump's going to get his head wound, which is also Obama's birthday. It's the 216th day of the year, and it leaves 149 days in the year. And the 149th day of the year is May 29th. You see, it leaves 216 days in the year. And that's August 4th. So the backwards of August 4th is May 29th. And May 29th is when JFK was born. The guy who got the head wound. Do you understand? May 29th is the backwards of August 4th, the day Trump gets his head wound, Obama's birthday. And that's JFK's birthday, the backwards of August 4th. The guy who got the head wound. Oh, and let's not forget that George Washington became a master mason also on August 4th. You see that? So read this right here. This was at a museum in Israel called McJesus, because they had Ronald McDonald being crucified. You see the mockery they do? And you know Trump, he wears a red tie, and that's why this looks like a red tie. And remember, his name is Ronald, that sounds like Donald, and also it's Ronald McDonald, so it's got the Donald in it. So they take out the Donald and put McJesus. Do you get it? Because Donald is going to come back from the dead. Do you get it? Like Jesus did. Of course, he's not going to actually do it, Trump, but they're going to make like he did. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is they took the Donald out of McDonald and put Jesus. And that also connects to Ronald Reagan. You see, I did a whole video on this. I'm not going to go through every detail, but Ronald is the Donald. Do you get it? And again, it's the same initials, Ronald Reagan, and he didn't die, just like those congressman and woman with the same initials, Steve Scalise and Gabby Giffords. And Ronald sounds like Donald, like I said. And there was an attempted assassination on Ronald Reagan, and he didn't die. He was shot. See, right there. And remember, there was even a controversy about Reagan because he was living at 666 St. Cloud. I mean, can you believe this? And then they changed it later to 668 after people, found out. And even Ronald Reagan has 6 letters in his first name, middle name, and last name, and that's why they thought he was the 666 guy. But really, it's Trump that's playing that part. There's so many details to this that I can show you that's incredible, but I'm not going to right now. The only thing I am going to show you is there was a person besides Reagan who was shot. There was another guy who was shot. So the other person that was shot during Reagan's assassination attempt was a guy named James Brady. Okay? And the guy who shot Reagan was a guy named John Hinckley. I'll show you something about him in a minute, but let's look at what happened to James Brady. So James Brady was shot in the head, above his left eye, passing through underneath his brain and shattering his brain cavity. So this guy survived the shooting, okay, and died years later. Okay, so remember, we're talking about a head wound connecting to Trump, everything. And James Brady dies years later. Let's see when he died. He died on August 4th, 2014. So it's the August 4th day. So the guy who got the head wound died on August 4th. You see that? You see how it's all connected to Trump getting his head wound on August 4th, Obama's birthday? I mean, he died like 30 years later, whatever it was. Oh, I think it was 33 years later. Yeah, that's right. It was 33 years later from the shooting. Because the shooting happened in 1981. So, and he died in 2014, that Brady. And look, the guy who shot Reagan, hold on, let me focus this better. His name is John Hinckley. And I'll show you the date in a minute. But remember, that Reagan was shot on 3/30. So there's your 3/3 code also, the 33. But John Hinckley, the guy who shot Reagan and shot James Brady, was born on May 29th. And why is that important? Because May 29th is JFK's birthday, the guy who got the head wound. I mean, what is the chance that this guy would be born on JFK's birthday and he did an attempted assassination on a president? And remember, JFK was a president. And this guy did attempted assassination on Reagan. And remember, I told you May 29th, the day JFK was born, is the backwards of August 4th, because August 4th is the 216th day of the year, and that's how many days remain from May 29th. 216 days. That's August 4th, the 216th day. August 4th is the backwards of May 29th, which is JFK's birthday. And August 4th is the day Trump gets his head wound on Obama's birthday.